Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is kind of a two-part video as well, where on one hand, the news was expected, but on the other hand, I was actually pleasantly surprised on the other piece of the story, talking about the CFL. As I was speculated a few days ago, last weekend in fact, when I made my global draft recap on who the Calgary Stampeders selected in the global draft, I also tacked on what I've been hearing and speculating on the 2021 CFL season, and that there was speculated that the league was going to announce that they were going to postpone the start of the 2021 regular season. It's like, here we go again when it comes to, just keep postponing until eventually canceling, because the 2020 regular season was canceled because of the pandemic with COVID-19. Well, in fact, the CFL still will be postponed. That is actually in a month's time. It was expected, actually the first preseason game actually would be the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders on Sunday, May the 23rd. Well, that is not going to happen. So that's kind of the downer part, that the 2021 regular season is going to be postponed yet again, so we're going to push off the start date. However, the league actually has this thing called a plan, a return to play plan. That part of the announcement that the CFL has announced, a return to play plan, is what I'll put in the description below, talking about that the CFL, despite the fact that it's still not practical to start the season on time, because the schedule came out, in late November, and I was hoping that we'll actually get to go to games this season. But the CFL actually announces a return to play plan for the 2021 season. And right now they are targeting a start date of Thursday, April the 5th. So we're looking at still a couple months later for the season to begin. And the CFL keeps saying that. I kept hearing rumblings all in the off season, but still kind of kept in the dark, especially with fans, and you even hear that with some players, that the league keeps saying, well, we're committed to play in 2021, but didn't say anything about, any plans. But now it's been revealed that they are looking to start on August 5th, and we're looking to play a 14-game regular season instead of the traditional 18-game regular season. And the Grey Cup will be a little later this season. That will be on Sunday, December the 12th, still in Hamilton, Ontario, 3 weeks later than usual. But I'm a little more encouraged that the league actually has a plan to look at a return to play plan. However, I think it's still targeted right now. As you know, we're still in the third wave with COVID-19, and there is some speculation that maybe, it's still a targeted date, and they're still not too sure exactly how the schedule is going to work, because now that they have announced that they'll delay the start of the season, targeting for a return on August the 5th, that they have not released a new schedule just yet. And also what you've been hearing and reading online, especially with some insiders, that there's still potentially, that their word is that they're more optimistic that there will be fans in attendance and games in their home stadiums when it comes to the Western Division teams, including my Calgary Stampeders, that there's a possibility with the Eastern teams, with the three teams in Ontario and the one in Quebec, with the Toronto Argonauts, the Ottawa Redblacks, Hamilton Tigerettes in Ontario, and the Montreal Alouettes in Quebec, and those are the two, obviously the biggest, most populated provinces, but also the ones that have been hardest hit with COVID. Well, actually Alberta and British Columbia has also been hit hard as well, but the restrictions and lockdowns have been a lot more tighter in those provinces, that there's some speculation that maybe, just maybe, the Eastern teams will play their home games not in their actual home stadium. But that still remains to be seen at this point. But I'm definitely a lot more encouraged and a little more optimistic with this news, that I might actually be going to McMahon Stadium this year, wearing my red, going to the stands to watch football. It's been way too long, and I know last month for the start of spring I made my way down to McMahon Stadium to walk around, on the go vlogging, which is what I plan to do more of on my channel. And even though the CFL season, they're still committed to having a season this season, it's still going to start off a little later. So I think once hockey season is over, I'm going to have to make a little more of my secondary content and any off-season news. But they also has mentioned that if the season's not going to start till, this will be after the August long weekend, because the 1st of August will be actually on a Sunday this year, and then the second would be the other Heritage Day or Civic Holiday, whatever you call it where you are in Canada, that the regular season will start that following weekend. That for any players that have to travel, especially going over the international border, that they have told that the players to come into the country basically after the Canada Day and the Independence Day around the first week of July, so they can get their quarantine time in and then report to their respective teams. So definitely is a little more encouraging to hear that the CFL, I mean, they definitely need to have games and hopefully have fans attend, depending on how vaccinations are going and all that. And I mean, me personally, actually, in the next couple of days, I'll actually am scheduled to get my shot. Just ask the favor for whoever's minister, let me look the other way first before you do it. And just be thankful I have matured a little since I was longer when it comes to that matter. But I mean, if I'm going to get my first dose, you know, here we are late in April, that if you're here in about 4 months to get the second dose and they're expanding the eligibility, that at least, you know, most people who want to get a vaccine, and I would say if you're definitely into going to the sporting events, you definitely are going to get that vaccine. That at least most people by then will at least have their first shot in line to get their second shot, or depending on where you fell in the demographics, maybe you'll be fully vaccinated. So hopefully that would be, you know, there'll still be some precautions, but I'm definitely be ready to come back to sporting events, because I also might have touched upon that I don't feel like feel things are really full of getting back to normal when it comes to, you know, everything in general, until I start going to sporting events, and then I would feel that I'll start feeling like I'll be healing mentally once I get going back into sporting events. And then of course, if there's games actually coming, I guess my Calgary Stampeders this month, I'll still plan to do, I'll go up to season 4 recapping games. And then the other thing I touched upon before, you know, COVID happened, that what I plan to do for this upcoming season, instead of me putting on my personal Facebook page or talk about game day and my feeling on it and kind of hyping up game day, my plan is I would want to make videos for every game day. But now I guess I'll have to wait and see what this new schedule is going to be. But you know, I am fine with the season starting a little later. You know, obviously do it as safe as possible, as practical as possible, you know, to keep you know, the government, the health authorities satisfied with it, and if more people be vaccinated by then. And they also say that people that get vaccinated definitely reduces the severity of getting COVID by significantly, where you don't need to go to the hospital. I know there's still that potential of being a transmitter, but hopefully we're eventually going to build up more herd immunity by then as well. And you know, I always say when it comes to Christmas, I don't start thinking or feeling it till after the Grey Cup. I am fine, you know, wait until the middle of December for that as well. And you know, December 12th actually is my half birthday, so it'd definitely be a nice half birthday present if, let's say, the Calgary Stampeders win the Grey Cup. I can dream, but it's definitely going to be a more interesting season. In fact, we didn't have a season last season, but yeah, that's what it is. And I know other speculative on word on the street was people were thinking it wasn't going to be till Labor Day that there'd be a season. But at least, you know, this way you can try to maximize as much of a season as possible. Yeah, push out the Grey Cup a little later. I mean, you never know about the weather, but what's 3 weeks? I mean, it could be cold, it could be snowy, it could be nice, because it's in Hamilton this season and it's an outdoor stadium. But what's the difference, you know, the second week of December or the third week of November? But it's just a matter of getting the season in, hopefully get everyone engaged, and then just the fact that the league definitely can't afford another season, even if there is potential of talking partnership when it comes to the XFL, that I've already made a couple of videos talking on that. But as I say, what do you think of everything? I also personally think with the original schedule that was released, that they actually emphasized a lot more divisional play. Where I know that Calgary wouldn't be going to Ottawa this year, and Montreal would be coming here this season. This is just my personal speculation, but maybe with this 14-game season and the fact that it's trying to come rebound and get back in it, I might make a prediction that the regular season will be divisional play only. Just try to minimize travel. That I think you are likely going to see that in my mind. I mean, the idea about potentially Eastern teams playing outside of their home, depending on where the restrictions are, that's just an idea that was thrown out there that I saw from, I believe it was Dave Naylor, the insider in TSN. Don't quote me on it, don't hold me to it, but I saw that online, but it's definitely exciting. At least that there is some hope that, and a plan. Because last year seemed like, I mean, it was tough last year that the CFL, it was still kind of put in dark on what their plan was, and they didn't come up and formulate a plan until later in the summer, and then the CFL was seeking assistance from the government. And although it's, touchy to talk about, using public funds to fund the sports league, but at the same time, the government's the reason why we're in this mess where we can't operate your business. But that's what it is, and that's why I have to touch on that. And more optimistic that definitely there is going to be football here this season. Won't start on time, unfortunately, but get as much of a season as possible and still have a Grey Cup a little later as possible, but it's all about just getting it back. So I had to say, what do you think, Aaron? So as I want to say, if you want to follow along this Calgary sports fans' journey, on the Flames, Hitman, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, just make sure you like, subscribe. I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel. I also do a variety of non-sports content like personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and also do share my experience I'm on the road to a sporting event. Labor Day, a lot of Labor Day Classic this year, with the Jets flying overhead at McMahon Stadium, especially where I'm taking games. A little more optimistic that I'll get to actually do that this year. And then have the Labor Day rematch where I pack up my red and head up to the QE2 to find out that not only we hate Edmonton here, but they hate us just as much up there. Oh, those are the days. Let's hope they happen again. So as I say, that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans' journey. You know what to do, just make sure to subscribe. I also have my other social media down in the description below, and yeah, hopefully you could say go Steps go. And by the way, although this will be a lot later than originally planned, I guess we'll actually get to celebrate our 75th anniversary season. I mean, the franchise was established in 1945, but we'll do the 75th anniversary celebrations this season once we know there is going to be a season, and it sounds like there is more optimism than it's going to be. It's just a matter of the schedule. That is still being worked on at this point. So as I want to say, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.